Welcome, everybody.
Hey, hey. Good boy, Tucker.
Work smarter where you want.
This is learning at its most fun.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another new partner spotlight. I'm your host, Austin Johnson, trainer and subject matter expert here at Redtail Technology. Today, I am joined by Altigo, Alternative Investments in Good Order. And today we are going to teach you how to make alternative investments as easy as to own as a mutual fund. So I'm joined today by Matt and Heather. Matt and Heather, good morning.
Hi, Austin. Thank you for having us.
Awesome. Matt, I wanted to start with you. Tell us a little bit about your journey into this industry and how you got started with Altigo.
Yeah, happy to, Austin. First, I want to say, thank you for having us as a partner. We've recently wrapped up our integration with you guys, and on behalf of about 100 wealth management firms that use Altigo, they really have enjoyed the simplicity of pulling in client data from Redtail into Altigo to help them complete alternative investment subscription information on behalf of their clients. So appreciate this opportunity to tell more folks, specifically that use Redtail, about the benefits of using Altigo too. So I'm Matt DeLorso. I'm one of the founders of a company called WealthForge that has rolled out this Altigo platform. WealthForge is a company that I founded 10 years ago. And really my personal story is that my grandfather was an entrepreneur. My mother was in finance as a CPA, and my father was a technologist. So I was always interested in finance and technology. I went to the University of Richmond for undergrad about 10 years ago, and we founded the company in college. I founded it with a co-founder partner because his father, during the Great Recession in 2008, was looking to diversify his net worth into alternative investments. He wanted to access private equity through private companies, private real estate, and private credit. And he was having a hard time doing that through his wirehouse broker. So he asked my co-founder and I to help him really find alternative investments. And so we started on the path of creating a fintech company called WealthForge and really creating an alternative investment marketplace that's underpinned by what we call straight-through processing and subscription automation technology. And that technology platform we offer for free to wealth management firms, and that alternative investment platform is called Altigo. Altigo is an acronym. It stands for Alternative Investments in Good Order. And it's really designed to solve the problem of inefficiency in alternative investments. And that problem is really caused because really all alternative investment transactions today are done in a manual, old-fashioned way through check and application, through a paper subscription doc, and mailing and emailing and faxing that subscription document to all the necessary parties in a transaction. So Altigo helps an advisor fill out that paperwork on behalf of their client, all digitally. It makes that paperwork correct, 98% of the time. So there's no errors, or NIGOs as we call them. And then it routes it to everybody in the transaction. So from the advisor to the client, from the client back to the advisor's home office or firm if necessary, onto the custodian and the sponsor and the fund admin and transfer agent. So we've found that Altigo makes it really, really easy for an advisor to do alternative investment business that they're already doing. It cuts the time down of submitting an alts trade from 30 minutes or an hour in the paper-based world to less than 5 minutes using our technology. It reduces errors, so you never have to go back to the client and ask them to re-sign or refill something out because it was incorrect. And then it actually gets to closing a whole lot faster because it's digitized and all the parties have transparency as for status. So if you're doing alternative investments, this is kind of the future of doing it, all through a digital platform called Altigo.
All right, awesome stuff, Matt. Well, I think you have sufficiently captured our attention. So why don't you go ahead and give us a demo as to what Altigo looks like and how to use it?
Great. Let me pull up my screen here. Okay. So Altigo is accessed by going to altigo.io. Once again, it's free for wealth management firms to use for the alternative investment business that they're already doing. And so today I'm going to walk you through a demo of a fictitious advisor, me, Matt DeLorso at Montpelier Capital, using Altigo to subscribe my client to a private equity fund. So Altigo is white labeled. And as I log in here as Matt, the advisor, you're going to see it takes me to my Montpelier portal. And everything is roles and permissions based for the advisor and for the firm, so they only see everything that they need to see and the appropriate information, including an offering list and supporting documentation. So as I log in here, you can see this dashboard that comes up inside of Altigo. And there's three main areas of Altigo. The first is quick subscribe, which for an advisor is exactly as it sounds. It's a way for them to quickly subscribe their client to any alternative investment in a system. The second section is the offering list, which allows the advisor to browse the alternative investment products that they have access to, see relevant information about those alternative investment products, discuss those offerings with their clients, find the right fit for the client, and then ultimately come to an investment decision and then start a subscription for the client. So I'm going to click on this ABC Strategic Capital Private Equity Fund, and I'm going to start a subscription for my client, John Smith, who wants to do a $100,000 allocation into this private equity fund. So what we do here for the advisor is we walk them through what we call an intelligent interview. It's almost like turbo. Hey, Austin, I apologize for the technical difficulties. I think I'm back now and still showing my screen.
Yeah, no worries. We got you back. Go ahead and keep going.
Yep.
We'll be sure to make some edits there.
Thank you. I think I'm going to pick up where we left off. So I was describing how this first step in the subscription workflow process is essentially entering the data about the investor. So this is where our integration with Redtail and our partnership really comes in to help make this data entry process super easy. So an advisor that uses Redtail can connect their Redtail account by clicking on this Integrate External Account Data button inside of Altigo. And here I can type in my Redtail username and password. And what that gives me the benefit of is pulling all of my client account data directly from Redtail in real time through their API into Altigo. So as I scroll down here in this workflow, you can see the first question we ask is ownership information about who's going to be purchasing these securities. Is it an individual? Is it an entity? Is it going to be through a qualified plan? And if I select individual and truly individual ownership, I then come to the contact information about the individual. And I can search Redtail for my investor. So I'm going to find John Smith's individual account, and everything gets pre-filled. So I no longer have to type in or write in by hand onto the subscription documents the contact information for John Smith, saving advisors time and your assistant's time in completing this documentation. Additionally, you can pull in things like citizenship. And here in this workflow, I'm going to add in the custodian for this transaction. My client holds their money at TD Ameritrade. And one of the benefits that we've built into Altigo is integration and coordination with the custodians. So I have the TD required purchase forms also in this application for me to fill out. The next step in our subscription process inside of Altigo is the investment information. So this private equity fund has a $5,000 minimum. I'm just going to do a subscription, an initial investment for $100,000. We're going to do the iShares, and we're going to reinvest the client into the reinvestment program. Additionally, here we talk about subscription automation and also straight through processing. So what we're trying to do here is complete an entire trade package. So not just the subscription documents for ABC Strategic Capital Fund, but anything that's required by any of the parties involved. So if the sponsor's fund administrator requires an ID to be uploaded on the client, we can do that here as the advisor for onboarding into the fund. Additionally, if my firm, Montpelier Capital, requires a disclosure document or a suitability document to be signed by the client because alternatives are typically a longer hold and risky, we can include the firm supporting documentation. And then lastly, as I mentioned, we have the custodian documentation here that needs to be signed and sent to the custodian as well. As the advisor, I'll be filling these out for the client on the next step. And at the end of this process, we're generating a DocuSign package to be sent to the client for their authorization. But here I'm going to complete the TD Ameritrade paperwork. Investing in the iShares, and I have no affiliation with this sponsor. Next, I'm going to fill out my firm's paperwork. So it's $1 per share. We bought 100,000 units. There's no commission. I'm doing this on a fee basis. It's private equity for diversification. I can make all these attestments. My client is high net worth. He has an aggressive risk tolerance. He's in the highest tax bracket. He's got a lot of other investments. His annual expenses are in check. He has excellent investment knowledge. His investment objectives are growth and income. We're going to pay for this investment through a wire transfer. He's got 10% of his net worth in alternatives and 1% with the sponsor. He's done a previous alternative investment with XYZ Capital into their non-traded REIT. He purchased it earlier this year for also $100,000. And so he has $100,000 currently in alternative investments. And so we just completed all the information that we need to enter for this alternative investment into the ABC Strategic Capital. And I've already sent the client the PPM and the prospectus. He wants to do this. And that sets up this signing order. So first, the client's going to get a DocuSign with this package to sign. Then it's going to come back to me, the advisor, and then it's going to go on to my firm, on to the custodian, and on to the sponsor and their fund admin. The advisor can always preview the package to make sure everything's been filled out correctly, and then send it out via electronic signature or manual signature. I'm going to select electronic signature and hit the submit button. So what this is doing is it's pulling the ABC Strategic Capital Fund documents. It's taking the way that we entered all the data into the fields on the form, and it's directly exactly filling out the subscription documents, the TD Ameritrade custodial form, and my firm's form for suitability. And that's sending a DocuSign to the investor's email inbox, to my client's email inbox. So as that takes about 10 seconds here to complete, I'm going to show you that email that actually goes out to the client with the subscription in good order. So the client will get a white labeled DocuSign email that comes from me at my firm, Montpelier Capital. It says, "Hi, John Smith. A subscription to the ABC Capital Fund has been initiated by your advisor, Matt Delorso. Please click review and sign the documents." The client pulls up the DocuSign. They agree to electronic signature. And here is the ABC Capital Fund doc perfectly filled out. Everywhere that needed information based on the way that we filled it out in the workflow is filled out. It's checked. The client can initial each line to say that they've read the document in each page. And all they have to do is continue to click and sign. Once again, everything's perfectly filled out on the sponsor's subscription document. Next is my firm's suitability form. So all the information that we filled out about my firm and my client's suitability questions is completed. The client once again can click and sign. And lastly, here is the TD custodial paperwork. The client hits finish, and that's all that's needed to be done by the client. Now the package goes on to the advisor. As the advisor and the advisor's firm, I can track this subscription in real time. So one of the benefits we're also providing, in addition to efficiency, is transparency. From the third section of the Altigo dashboard, remember there's quick subscribe, the offering list, and this transaction activity section, we can see that investment and its status of subscription in real time. So here's the John Smith ABC Capital $100,000 subscription that I've initiated today. And we can see that it's in the status of investor e-sign. So as I've just acted as the investor and I signed the documents, this will update here in near real time, probably in another 15 seconds, into the advisor e-sign status. I, as the advisor, will get a notification that my client has signed it. If I need to sign it or approve it as the advisor, I can do so and then send it on to my firm as applicable, onto the custodian, ultimately onto the sponsor and their fund admin, and it will be accepted by them or rejected. And if it is accepted, you'll get notification that your client is in the position. So that was a very quick demonstration of how we with Altigo make subscribing to any alternative investment that you or your firm is doing to put your clients into those positions super easy, super quickly, all online in a matter of minutes with a huge reduction in errors. So that's a quick demo, Austin, for the Redtail users and how you can integrate Redtail to help you fill in the data.
Yeah, that was really awesome, Matt. I really saw how you took what would be lengthy paperwork process and were able to just quickly pre-fill a lot of information, particularly with that Redtail integration of bringing in the client's contact information, not having to look it up, not having to type it in. It's all available right at the click of a button. So really awesome stuff. Matt, so if somebody wants to get started with Altigo or learn more, where should they go?
Austin, yes, they can please go to altigo.io and click on the sign up button at the bottom of the login page. And we'll send you and your firm information about accessing this free platform and how to get started.
Yes, I love free platforms because there's really no reason not to go do it, right? It's completely free to sign up, and you can definitely offer your clients an easy way to start owning alternative investments.
Thanks so much for joining us today for this particular session. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call at 800-206-5030, option 3 for support, or just shoot us an email over to support@redtailtechnology.com. Thanks a lot and have a great day.